Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Taurus be affected by the... No, not Taurus affected. Taurus, October 16th to the 30th, 2021. Taurus. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So we have great change and we have judgment. So it can be that we feel judged during this change, but there's a great change that comes in that lets us feel like we're being released. We're being released from a box that we had either put ourselves in or we felt other people had put us in. There's a sense here of releasing a lot that we had felt judged for, felt almost oppressed over. So that's going to be interesting. We then have the 10 of air, and this makes perfect sense with what we're seeing here at our root. The 10 of air in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the person laying prostrate on the ground, laying down on the ground with 10 swords stabbed into them. It's overkill. It's the darkness before the dawn. It can be, going over things again and again in our mind. But what it is it's being given the tools that we need to overcome the darkness that we have lived through, overcome the hurts and the pains and the disappointments and the way that we have felt quite literally stabbed in the back over a decade's time, each year having learned something different, having faced a different challenge, a different hurt, a different pain. It then moves us here to the 7 of air. And the 7 of air is knowing what to take and knowing what to leave and moving forward. It's almost feeling like, what direction do I go in? Where do I want to be? We're making some big decisions during this time, and we have to make sure that we're not hasty, but that we, move forward for us, not for what everybody else wants and needs, but for us and what we desire. It's not being selfish or ego-driven. It's very much saying, I matter, and I get to have a say here. We then have the Ace of Wands. God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us a gift of passion, handing us a gift of creation. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles. This is my vampiric energy card. It's kind of like where our chakra energy gets stuck. We can feel it around our solar plexus chakra, our crown chakra, even our soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown, and our earth star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. It's almost like the energy just isn't moving the way that it should be, or that we have felt this stagnation within us. And now we're saying, why? Why? This passion is shining bright. This determination is leading me forward. Why am I stuck? Why am I held back? We have the 9 of Pentacles, prosperity and success in the public arena. I mean, that's what we like to see. There is a sense here of, I am prosperous. I have worked hard. I get to celebrate this. Now, we might have more work to do, of course, but we get to celebrate the prosperity of where we are right now, knowing that yes, there's more to do tomorrow and the next day and the next day, but where I am right now is a beautiful, powerful part of me. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is us. We're Earth sign energy, Taurus. We're represented by the Pentacles in the minor arcana, by the Hierophant in the major arcana. We're coming through as the Queen. We're coming through as a person who nurtures our prosperity, our wealth, our abundance, and really sees the seeds that we have planted and that we are planting. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Taurus needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly this one. The Hermit. Now it can be that we have Hermit energy around us. We might not want to go out of our houses because of all the chaos that we have been through, just from the world in general, but from our own selves and our own doubts and our fears and the hurts and the pains that we have been through, we can find that it's easier to shut the door. We also have to be mindful of falling down rabbit holes, going too deeply into things, having the light shine deeper and deeper and deeper until we forget, what it is that is real and what it is that isn't. So when Spirit is saying this, we just have to be really aware of staying in the present. We can fall into the past, we can fall into the future, our regrets for the past, our regrets of the past, but we can even fall into the good memories of the past. And our future, we fall into worry, doubt, fear. We're also going to be really drawn to people who bring this up, who are kind of fear mongers, people who make us more anxious and who live in their own little bubble, in their own little world. I mean, everybody lives in their own world, but there's a greater intensity of it here. So just be mindful of that. Then we have our chakra energy. And this can also say to us, be mindful of Virgos. I mean, seriously, it could be that simple. Let's see our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. We have clarity, the third eye chakra. Our instincts, our third eye is opening up. We're seeing things with clarity and intention, and we're moving forward in that clarity and in that intention. And that's going to be a powerful thing for us, for others, for the way that we want to move forward within our lives. So let's start talking about the astrological aspect of this moon. Get a piece of paper, there we go, or take notes on your phone, a pen, and let's get started. So on the 16th of October, this is the most beautiful way to start this time period. We have Mercury sextile Venus. Now, this is beautiful energy and just what we needed after the new moon energy, after, chaos that we have been through. Mercury is in control of communication. Venus is ruling love. We find this a wonderful time for socializing, for embracing pleasure, for embracing what we love and what we want in life. And this is a day not for fighting, but for enjoying. It's kind of like to sit back with a glass of wine, a cup of tea, whatever it is that you like, and be able to embrace the richness of the day. Now, on the 17th of October, we have the Sun squared Pluto, and we say goodbye to the calm energy of Mercury sextile Venus. And hello to the intensity that we've become used to, which we kind of don't want to say hello to anymore, but it shows its face again. We need to be mindful of our egos getting in the way of things. We are going to find ourselves drawn to intensity again, kind of like falling down that rabbit hole energy that we've been mindful of here. We find ourselves, coming out of darkness and really drawn to the intense because we feel like this is what I need. This is the ferocity that I need in expression. And what we're going to need to learn how to be is calm for ourselves, calm around others, focus on our intention. And if we do that, we become unstoppable because this is finely honed energy. This is energy where Spirit shows it as, instead of like this raging barn fire, it's this precision laser. We are able to focus on what we want, the way that we need to move forward, our mindfulness of where it is that we want to be. We can look at our ego and say, okay, well, what is it that I want to achieve? How is it that I want people to see me? And then hone in on what we desire, but not making it all about our perception to others, but making it about what we want from our life and from our world. On the 18th of October, we have a couple of things happening. We start off with Jupiter going direct, and when Jupiter goes retrograde, which it did in June, we are given like this 4-month period to put our spiritual and inner needs in order. This is a time of seeing harsh truths and having to be really honest with ourselves. We've kind of called ourselves out on a lot of things, or people have called us out on things. We might have heard things that we didn't want to hear, been pushed in a direction we didn't think we needed to go. But now that we're walking that path, it's like, oh, okay, I see it, thanks. Now, as Jupiter goes direct, we have the courage and the insight from all the hard work that we had to do when Jupiter went retrograde to act on what we have learned and to seek out success, to say, you know what, I'm worth more than I thought I was. You know what, that idea that I had during Jupiter direct has made me see what I need to speak about, what I need to address, what I need to move forward in, what I need to embrace. And it's something that might have been deeply personal for us, that might have been, deeply scarring. And now we're saying, you know what, that's not holding me back anymore. That's not the thing that gets to define me. I get to define me. Take advantage of this insight. It doesn't mean that we have to become activists. It doesn't mean that we have to, seek something huge. What it means is that we start to recognize our scars. We start to recognize the hurts and the pains and the disappointments that we have been through, how that has shaped us, and how we're worth more than what we thought. And that's very much seen here with the 10 of air. Now, we also have on the 18th of October, Mercury going direct. Now, this is a great time because Mercury retrograde is all about, our communication being kind of mucked up and things not being clear and everything misunderstandings being big and travel and this and that. So now we start to see Mercury going direct and it's like, okay, yes, I can communicate. But we also have to remember the star alignment as Mercury goes direct is really intense. We need to embrace a positive mindset during this time. We can find this hard, especially after the new moon that we've had, which was super intense. If you want to listen to that or, hear about that, click on my new moon readings. Those ones were super explosive, super intense. We can carry that energy forward, making us think like, I can't. This is a time where we have the fixed star Vindimatrix that will absolutely play off of melancholy, impatience, doubt, despair, rash decision making. It will play into all our insecurities and say, you're right, you can't. You're right, you shouldn't. It's going to want to lower our energy vibration, but we have to make sure we're not feeding it. We have to make sure that we're looking at things and saying, okay, I'm calling myself out. If we're very drawn to true crime or murder mysteries, like really intense murder mysteries, not even really intense, kind of stick to the cozy murder mysteries, but we can see that even gets to us. And then we have, horror films. This can also be books. I know I'm reading this book right now that's like this thick and it's huge and I'm almost done with it, but it's gotten really intense and kind of not in the headspace that I want to be. But I'm so stubborn that I'm so close to finishing it. I know, the spiritual alignment and the planetary alignment is saying, put it down, walk away for a little bit, but I just can't. I just want to know what happens. So we can find that going on, but we have to become aware of it. We have to call it out and be able to address it within us. While we're doing this, we can impact our melancholy and our patience and all the negativity. We can find that it tends to bring up tendencies for depression and anxiety. So again, be mindful of the fixed star Vindimatrix during this time. While this is happening, we have the fixed star also Parima coming into play. And what will happen here is that if we are, again, in a negative mindset, we're going to think that everything we've worked towards doesn't matter. We're going to think that, it's all been for nothing. And that's a very nihilistic mentality, but this star alignment can make us rather nihilistic. What we have to see here is that if we stay in a positive energy vibration, what we start to see is the underhanded side of people who are going to want to drag us down. But because we can see it before they drag us down, we're like, okay, I see you. I see you for who you are. I see you for what you bring to the table. I can smile to your face, but I know not to trust you. And that's going to be really important. It can almost be like a superhero power. So keeping ourselves in a high energy vibration, that becomes everything. Again, on the 18th of October, we have Mars trine Jupiter. Now this brings success and has us moving forward with strength and confidence. We have this sensual energy that needs to be expressed while we have this creative energy that needs to come forward. This is the perfect time to meditate on our sacral chakra. There is a sense of being a bit lucky during this time and really being able to push boundaries. We're going to see that a lot of the negativity that we bring forward, yes, it can be played off of as Mercury goes direct by the star alignment, but with the planetary alignment of Jupiter coming direct and Mars trine Jupiter, we really see this passion and this insight to say, you know what, I'm pushing forward. You know what, I'm not being held back. On the 20th of October, we have the Hunter's full moon, which is considered a sacred moon in many cultures. We're going to go into that moon in a separate video, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned. On the 22nd of October, Mars is going to be squared Pluto. We are set to achieve our potential. And there's an increase of power here. We have this drive, this determination, and this energy to spare. It's almost like we are powerhouses during this time. This is a time to get the job done. It's a time to go after what we want. It's also a time where tempers can be short and, our tongues can be sharp. So be mindful of how we're talking to ourselves and how we're talking to others. On the 26th of October, Venus is squared Neptune. Now, this one can really play with us. This is a time where we can feel as if we're not worth anything. We have this hard time with self-love, with recognizing our self-worth. This is a time where we can be super sensitive. Depression, anxiety, doubts, and fears can start to come to play. We need to be mindful of this. We have to remember that we matter. We have to write the affirmation on our mirror or wherever it is that we see it every single day, even like on the lock screen of your phone. Write, I am enough. I am enough, so that we look at it and we're going to kind of get mad at that because we're going to have the sense of I'm not enough. I have to push. I have to achieve. And what Spirit is saying here is that where you are right now is not a mistake. And that can be really hard if we're in a negative space. We can think, well, how isn't this a mistake? Everything that you're learning, all the compassion, all the humanity that's coming, because nobody learns compassion through everything being easy. Because it's like, well, just succeed, just push forward, just, use all the money that you have and go after what you want. When you have to fight for it, where you have to, work for it, it gives us compassion towards others that have to fight and work for it. It gives us compassion towards ourselves to see how far we've come and how much we have overcome. And it really sets down the foundation. So this is going to be a time where we need to arm ourselves with love for ourselves and for others. With compassion, we need to clear out the energy. We can, burn sage if we want to, embrace the singing bowl, embrace meditation, but we need to focus on our heart chakra and not get too much in our own heads. We need to look at what we love and not see ourselves as failures, because we're going to think, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten to where I want to be. Obviously, I'm not going to be there. And that's not true at all. We have this carry into the 27th of October because, it's the next day and negative energy kind of lingers sometimes. On the 28th of October, we have Venus sextile Jupiter. And this washes away all the doubt and all the fear of Venus squared Neptune. All of a sudden, we're like, I love me. I'm worth it. I'm doing a really great job. I'm working really hard. I'm getting there. Why was I hating on myself? Why was I downing myself? Why was I holding myself back? This is a balancing time. This is a powerful time. This is a time that we need to take advantage of the fact that we believe we can, instead of absolutely being assured that we can't. This is a time where clarity starts to come into play. This is a great time for indulging ourselves, and this is a great time for being able to see again our worth. But again, we have to be mindful not to overindulge, because that can not work out in our favor. On the 30th of October, this is a beautiful alignment. We have the Sun squared Saturn. And here it gives us challenges that hone us in our insecurities. So what that means is, I don't know if I said it, excuse me, I don't know if I said it the right way, but these challenges are kind of like tailor-made to what we are insecure about, to what we are doubting, to what we are fearing. Now, of course, this is Halloween, this is Shamwin. We are going to be looking at things between the veils of the spiritual world and the earthly world. We're going to be feeling things a lot more intensely. And this is a time where we get to see how far we've come, not only for ourselves, but to others. Others are going to start to acknowledge this, maybe not out loud, but we start to acknowledge it. And this is a time where we start to hold our head up high and say, you know what, I'm worth beauty and respect and power and insight and ideas. This is the perfect time for late bloomers. This is a perfect time for people who have started to doubt themselves, to say, wait a minute, why? Why am I doubting me? Why am I downplaying me? Why am I negating me? This is my time. And that's a beautiful way to end October, and also to embrace our energy. So we have the seasons changing with us. This is a time of embracing fall or spring, wherever you are in the world. This is a time of, seeing our voice change, seeing ourselves change, embracing interesting ideas of what we want and our way forward, thinking outside of the box. This is going to be a time where we can feel like we're on a roller coaster ride. We can feel like we have so many emotions every 5 seconds, but there's an intensity to it. There's a brilliance to it. There's a power to us. And it's because we're rising in judgment. We're rising in judgment of ourselves, of what we want and what we need and where we're headed. We're rising out of darkness and pain and hurt and disappointment. and into what we want from life, into what we enjoy from life, into a place of insight and ideas and power, we start to see ourselves. And we think of judgment as fire, right? We think of being judged. It's a very typical, ideology of being judged is to have this fire. But fire purifies. Fire takes away the imperfections within us. And it's not that we're going to be perfect after this. It's that we're entering into a season of, but this is me, and I'm worth it. This is me, and I am powerful. This is me, and I am seen. And that becomes everything. That becomes a very powerful place to be, because we're embracing our voice, we're embracing our courage, we're embracing our insight, we're embracing our sensuality, we're embracing our creativity. And it's like, I get to be seen, I get to be heard, I get to, move forward. And we take all the swords that have been stabbed into us. We take all the pains and all the hurts and all the disappointments. And there was a study I read, and I can't remember it exactly, but it says that a person only really needs one big fail in their life to make them gun shy of moving forward again, to make them, fear being able to go after what it is that they want. One big failure. And a lot of us have had more than one. We're lucky if we have one. But that big failure it all depends on how we perceive things. So one person's big failure could be another person's, oh, please get over that. Like, that was so simple. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to look at what we have been through. The scars of the years don't have to be big things. They could be very small things that just compound on our own insecurities, that just play off of the negative coping mechanisms that we created when we were younger, and play off of the insecurities that we have from being small. And as we grow and as we try to hide, and bring off ego or bravado to say, oh no, I'm totally secure, instead of saying, no, this is a place that I'm sensitive about. This is a place where I need to pay extra attention to, and I need to be mindful of listening to somebody. We can also find that we tend to listen to people who have critical advice for us that will sit there and kind of tear us apart. And this is going to be because we can think, oh, well, they're telling us the truth. Like, nobody's ever going to be that honest with me. They're telling me the truth. They're telling me what I need to hear. I should listen to them. No, sometimes people are just jerks, and they can sit there and tell you everything that's wrong with you. But until their house is in order, until they are living the absolute perfect life with no skeletons in the closet or hurts and pains to be hidden, don't take their advice, or at least take it with a grain of salt. Buddha said, doubt everyone, even me. If Buddha can say that, then we can doubt everyone and take what we need emotionally, spiritually to move forward with. We're going to see that we start to arm ourselves with the wisdom that we have learned through the ages, through a decade of our life, through, even reincarnation, if we believe in past lives, through what we have experienced, through meditation, through past life regression, through being able to connect with our souls and what we desire. And you can sit there and think, oh, well, that's all malarkey, and that's fine. But if something comes up that we think, oh, well, that was a past life thing, and that was really a when you were 3 years old thing, does it matter? Does it matter why we're dealing with it? It just simply matters that we are. And we're starting to give voice to it. We're starting to embrace our passion and where it is that we want to be and what has held us back. And that's where we start to see our path changing on the wind. That's where we start to see our desires building and growing. And we might think, wow, I'm scattered all over the place in October. I have these highs and these lows and these lefts and these rights. And I think, where is it that I'm supposed to be? Here, we're supposed to, it's kind of like a buffet. We're supposed to taste a little bit of everything. We're supposed to find out what we like and what we don't like. I firmly believe that life is about finding out who you're not necessarily making it easy to find out who we are, because we can see this in little children. When we're about 3, 5 years old and we're set out into the world, we tend to change ourselves for other people. We tend to, hide the fact that we like certain things or that we still listen to nursery rhymes, and we think, oh no, don't embarrass me, Dad, don't embarrass me, Mom, or caregiver. I want to be cool, I want to fit in. So we lose ourselves really, really quickly. And yet we might have known ourselves up until the age of 3, up until the age of 5, really, really well. This is a time where we start to find ourselves again, where we start to not be driven by the whims and the whimsy of society or, peer pressure, but when we start to say, but who am I? What do I love? What do I want? What do I need? What do I desire? And it leads us to this place of passion. It leads us to this place of insight. The Ace of Wands is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, saying, Here is the passion of your heart. Here is what illuminates you. Here's the torch in the darkness. Here is what brings you forward. Are you going to light your way? Are you going to embrace what you want? Or are you going to say tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow? Are you going to say that you matter? This could be a time where we start to say, you know what? I don't have any clothes in my wardrobe that make me feel happy, that make me feel comfortable with being me. It's time to change that. It's time to say, I like who I am and I'm embracing myself and moving forward. This is the time to smile upon ourselves. This is the time to say, again, I matter. I see you. And this is a time to do so with dignity and respect and intensity and beauty. And so as we do this, we start to see the passion that divinity is giving us. We start to see the passion that we have and the creativity that we have. This is what gets us out of bed in the morning. And we have to have things that we love to get us out of bed. I was watching YouTube, and there was a commercial that said, you know what, we have a throwaway culture, right? Especially in the West. And we have this throwaway fashion. So it said to buy quality clothes instead of just throwing them away. And I remember thinking, I remember when spending $1 on a McDonald's coffee was money that needed to go somewhere else, and it was a complete treat. So I thought that was a bit impractical for some people. But also I thought, we are worth quality. Instead of always seeing ourselves, especially if we've worked hard and we have a little bit saved, and it just for us, not for in our savings account, but just for us to be able to use and to spend, if we've gotten to that point, why not? Why not say I'm worth quality instead of I will give quality to everybody else, but for me, I will take what's on sale. I'll take what's left over. And I find that to be something very challenging to fight against, because that's my initial instinct. And I know that I'm not unique within this world. And so that is the instinct of many people, especially if we are givers, especially if we are empathic, especially if we, have been used to sacrificing. This is time to say, I matter. This is my creativity. This is my passion. This is how I need to present myself to the world and to myself, to know that I am releasing this vampiric energy that has held me back. I'm releasing the doubts and the fears and the negativity that has kept me small, the anger that people have spoken over me, the anger that has seeped into me, the things that weren't my fault, but I internalized. Because when I was little, I thought the whole world, like any child does, the whole world revolved around me. And if I could just be better, I could make it better. If I could just be what was expected, then things would calm down, or things would go the way that I wanted them to. This is a time where we look at trauma, we look at hurt, we look at pain, we look at disappointments. And it doesn't have to be from when we're little. It could be in a marriage. It could be in a failed relationship. Maybe it didn't make it to marriage, but, this was a person that we were madly in love with. It could be a friendship that we take the blame for. And we say, wow, I was the one who let that crumble. And we don't say, you know what? We outgrew each other. When we deny ourselves, when we silence ourselves, when we should have spoken up, when we make the exceptions for a person's bad behavior, or for, feeling not worth it and thinking, you know what, that's just me, I'm having a bad day. Instead of addressing it, we silence ourselves. We have a bit of ourselves break off and kind of die away. And this is a time where we start to take it back. We start to say, I don't need to hold on to my prosperity, because it's going to fall away. I need to embrace the fact that I am always prosperous, and I will have ebbs and flows within prosperity, as everybody does. But that does not mean I'm worthless. That means I'm learning. That means I'm seeing. That means I'm building up what is right for me and what isn't. And as we do this, we then enter in the public arena, because emotionally, this is going to be hard for us. This is kind of like a mindset of poverty, a mindset of you're not talented, you're not worth it, you can't possibly. And we're going to be shattering that. We're going to be working against that. Now, again, that could come from our caregivers when we were little. That could come from relationships as we got older, especially if we saw our parents or our caregivers have really good relationships. And then we walk into a relationship expecting to be treated well, but that person did not have healthy relationships growing up, and they treated people really badly. And we thought, wow, if I'm just better, I will have the relationship. I'll be able to model the relationship that I knew in this. I can just love this person enough to heal them. And you can never... I don't want to say you can never do that, but without a person waking up to needing to be healed, you can't make them heal. You can't love somebody enough to bring them compassion. You just can't. It moves us to the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is prosperity and success and bounty and abundance. The 9 of Pentacles is gratitude. It's gratitude for the harvest coming in. It's gratitude for the hard work paying off. It's knowing that we're going to have work to do, yes, but it's enjoying the feast now. It's kind of like having a really great party and knowing in the back of your head, somebody's going to have to clean this up and it's going to be me, and thinking, wow, that's going to take forever. but not letting that ruin the party that we're in, not letting that ruin the celebration of who we are and where we want to be and what we want from this world. This is the time to say, I celebrate me. This is the time to say, I am a queen. I am royalty. I am majestic. I am abundant. I am prosperous. I'm nurturing the bounty and the seeds that I want to see sown within my world and within myself. I am realizing my worth. I am embracing my worth. Now, yes, we're going to be our practical Taurian self, but we're also embracing our sensuality. We're expressing what we desire. Mars trine Jupiter on the 18th of October. Yes, we have a lot of things thrown at us in the 18th or on the 18th of October. But this is a time where we start to say, I let my sensual creative energy fly forward. And as a Taurian, to be able to do that brings us into ourselves. So many people forget the sensual aspect of Taurus. So many people focus on the stubbornness, on the bull in the china shop, analogy, but they forget about the sensitive creativity that needs to shine, that needs to move, that needs to be guided forward with us. And sometimes we forget that ourselves. We think I'm the go-getter. I'm the one who gets the job done. We forget about the heart. This is not the time to forget about the heart. In the public arena, people will see us as go-getters, as successful, as bountiful, as having what they longed for, like what they themselves long for. They don't see all the struggle that's going on inside. And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. But don't expect the compassion from others unless you vocalize it, unless you vocalize the fact that, there's a new path that I'm taking. And I'm afraid to let go of the old pains and the old coping mechanisms that I have that have held me back, but that are comfortable. It's like when we think we found a soulmate and we found a wound mate, a person who just brings out all the wounds and all the hurts and all the pains that we have inside of ourselves. We have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful of that during this time, because this isn't just romantic relationships. We can find it in friendships. We can find it on YouTube channels. We can find it, anywhere, in books, in movies. We can find this darkness kind of pulled out and this hurt brought forward. And we have to be mindful of walking into old patterns and keeping old patterns, because they are just simply familiar. They're like that old ratty pair of slippers that you actually trip over because the soles are coming off from the bottom, but you think, oh, they're so comfortable, I don't want to get a new pair. Yeah, well, it's so comfortable, but it's going to kill you. So don't trip yourself, don't fall down, get a new pair of slippers and see the blessings come. Okay, now let's look at our subconscious energy here. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of: Princess of Cups, emotions everywhere, being drawn to people who are just emotionally chaotic. They have a lot of feelings and they have them a lot of the time. We're going to think, I can help you. I can listen to you. I can ground you. You can move forward. There can be success here. No, this person will drain you. And this person will not realize that they're draining you, but they just will. They'll just take and take and take. That's also something we have to be mindful of the heart. We can find that we don't have very good boundaries during this time, Taurus, and we're going to need those boundaries to emotionally be successful. We can also find that we need to be aware of what we're feeling, and we need to vocalize what we're feeling, maybe to a professional, maybe to a really good friend or family member, or maybe even to ourselves if we journal, or if we're drawing. We just need to say, what is this emotion that I feel? What is the color of this emotion? Why is it this color? What does that invoke within me? And then we start to see ourselves healing. We start to see ourselves not being emotionally overrun, which there is a kind of tendency for during this time. Our subconscious chakra message is the heart chakra, and it's the inner child. What I love to do when the inner child comes up is the visualization exercise of seeing us sit with the inner child, with the child that we were before us, or stand, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, and let that child kind of like coming out of school or coming out of the playground and sees you. And as children do, they go, oh my goodness. And they run to you. They run to you like, oh my gosh, I just saw my best friend, or my superhero. And you pick them up in your arms and you give them that hug, and you spin them around, or however it is that you want to hug them, you hold on to them and you tell that child that you once were, I love you. I'm here for you. And I will always be here for you. I will listen to you when you feel forgotten. I will see you when you feel invisible. Now, this doesn't mean that we have to do this with our child self. This can be that we do this with our teenage self, or early adult self, or even self that we are now, where we see the person who has been wounded, who has become a victim in our world, who feels like they are not seen, like they are not heard. Whatever age that is for you, you embrace that being, that child, that innocent part of ourselves, that hurt part of ourselves with love. It's just like you wouldn't kick a, hurt puppy or a hurt kitten. Don't kick yourself when you're down. It moves us to our subconscious rooted self, and it's the Emperor. Now, if we're born on the cusp with Aries, if we, if we have Aries within our natal chart, this is going to be a time that it shines forward within us. This is going to be a subconscious time where we're claiming a throne that we thought somebody else should claim. We thought, I'm not really a ruler. I don't really want to lead. I'm going to listen to somebody else. Now we're saying, no, I'm listening to myself. I'm moving myself forward. I'm going after what I want, what I desire, what I need. And we're putting ourselves first because we're ruling our kingdom, which is our bodies, which is our soul, which is what we desire in life. And we're saying, you matter. I see you. And there's a power and an intensity to us that gets to be embraced and expressed. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the goddess of fire. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, playing off of the Aries energy that has come up in our subconscious rooted self. We are creating and brewing and boiling and simmering something amazing within us. Is it ready right away? No, it might not be. It might take a lot of time for this to brew to perfection. It's kind of like making a good pasta sauce. It isn't ready instantaneously. It takes days to make a really good pasta sauce and to let it sit and to let everything soak into it. And then it's just unbelievably delicious. We're making something unbelievably delicious for ourselves. We're brewing it. We're steeping it. We're embracing our passion and what we desire and what we want and what we need, and realizing that it takes time to embrace perfection, to embrace maybe not perfection, but deliciousness, to embrace a beautiful aspect of ourselves and our passion and what we want. And how we connect to the time and the effort of creating it. Our subconscious emotional self is the sun. The happiest card in the whole entire deck. Brilliance and beauty and passion and radiance. People will be jealous of us. They will see something about us, Taurus, that they think, I want that. Will they be able to pinpoint it? Absolutely not. They will just think, you have something that I want, and because you have it, I can't have it, and I want it. Period. End of discussion. It's kind of like a little kid saying, I want to play with the truck, and so they hit the other kid to take the truck and make it theirs. We're going to feel them taking us by eyes. We're going to feel them, as bullies around us. Embrace your prosperity. Embrace your light. Don't let their negativity overshadow you. Don't let their negativity even touch you, because you're rising. Your energy vibration is rising. Your passion is rising. Your desire is rising. You're stepping out of that vampiric energy and saying, not today. Not today. I will not be brought down. I will not be, denied. I will be embraced and listened to and passionate and go after what I desire. Subconsciously, our heart is shining, and that's beautiful. Our subconscious public arena self is the Hermit. Now, we are told to be mindful of the Hermit, and yet it's coming through subconsciously. It's wisdom. It's not acting instantaneously. It's knowing that we need to reflect, but it's not taking that reflection to the deep end, not going into anything, not too deeply, but in a sense of going to the extremes. We're being told, don't go into the extremes, don't go down the rabbit holes. Embrace what you desire, embrace what you want, embrace what you need. Look inside of yourself, shut out the rest of the world, and just listen and see what is revealed. See what comes forward. See the passion that guides you. See the insight that comes into play. The Hermit is saying that the world has their direction that they're headed. We have ours. Take it internally. Embrace where you want to be and what you are developing within yourself. Be that light. Be that passion. Be that brilliance. It comes from within. It doesn't come from the external world. And we're going to think, maybe because there's this prosperity and this brilliance around us, we're going to think, oh, well, I need to, get this from somebody else, or this mentor, this person who can help guide me, lead me to the place I want to be. It's like, no. Once we quiet ourselves, once we center ourselves, once we know ourselves, that wisdom, it comes from within. We can be helped by other people, but nobody's going to guide us there. Okay. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the complexity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus.